Alrighty, we're working on a house where there's going to be children living in it. And you know how kids are with keys. They are very inquisitive quite often. And they would may take a key and try to push it into an outlet like that and get it. And that would be very dangerous. They can get a shock. So what they make outlets that are safety for kids. See where it says TR here? It's tamper resistant. They have shutters on them. So these shutters will keep a child from pushing the key into the outlet. And if you look closely, you can see the black shutters in there. So we're going to be installing them in the kitchen here because you know how kids like to climb up on the counter and play with stuff. So I'll show you how to install these. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps and 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. The black is live, the white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground, and also red and blue are live colors. So we're going to put a double box here and we're going to install a set of outlets here. So we're going to take this insulation out. Get cameras going. Alrighty. Okay, so we'll drill a hole through our stud here. You got to get it back. And if you look closely, this 12-2 wire is made here in the country I was born in. That's a nice thing to see, isn't it? Okay, we'll mount our box where they're going to be putting it. Right here. Okay. So this 12-2 is a yellow jacketed cable. That's how you can tell it from the 14. rip our Romex here. I'll just cut the very end where the wire is going to be stripped.
Give me the wrong one, Dave.
What?
Give me the wrong one.
They did?
Yeah. Good thing we opened it.
Is it similar to what you're getting though, or?
It's the wrong color.
Oh, okay, but it is the right model though.
Yeah.
Okay, well I can still look at it and we can tell if we have the wires long enough or not.
Okay. Then I'll take it right back.
Okay. So I'm gonna show you an easy way to hook this up. So I'm gonna take and score my wire here and score it here, and I'll do my white, and I'm gonna do the same with my ground wire. Okay, so we'll take our knife here, we'll skin where we scored the wire, and that will save us having to put wire nuts in this box. Where'd you get them, at Lowe's or?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the wrong one. It's the wrong one. I'm gonna go back and buy the right one.
Okay.
And if they don't have it, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll be back.
All right. Okay, so next we will close the screws we're not going to be using. Now, one thing about the tamper resistant outlet, when you just try to push something into either side, you can't push it, because when you put a plug in here, when both prongs touch the inside, it opens the shutters. So you can't open the shutter pushing it on one side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make our loop in the middle here. And we put it on the brass screw. Like that. And I'll close it. Okay. That's what we want right here. I'm pulling the outlet forward so that the wire is hugging the inside of the screw. And I'll tighten it. So we have our copper under the screw head here. And I'll turn it around. And I'll do the same with our white wire. Bend it so that we get an even loop here. Like that. Make sure it's nice and tight. And we'll bring our ground wire over. And we'll put it around our green screw like this. So this will keep the kids here safe so that they can't stick something into the outlet. When I was 1.5 years old or so, I remember, if not a little younger, I remember looking behind an outlet and seeing the black on the brass screw and the white on the silver screw. Okay, so we can take and screw this outlet in. We'll go across with the, we'll go down and up with our black and white, and go this way with our ground wire. I'll screw this all the way down so that the workers have something to plug into. Tighten it by hand so I don't strip the holes out. And what's nice about this box is you have a screw here to adjust the box, so you can bring it, move it in and out according to the thickness of the sheetrock. Here in the country I was born in, sheetrock comes in 1/2 inch and 5/8, and that's why this is adjustable, so I can bring this out to be flush with the sheetrock. Okay, now we'll hook up our second outlet here. Okay, I'll push these wires back so they're out of our way here. I'll shorten this ground wire up some more too. Okay, I'll make a loop the direction that my screw turns. Okay, again we'll close the screws we're not going to be using, just so that it's not in the box where it can cause a problem. Now I like to use the flathead screwdriver on these green screws because this Phillips had ruined my flathead screwdrivers. So I get it nice and tight. We get our white wire on the silver screw here. Get a nice solid connection like that there. That's what you want. Like that. Okay, I'll flip this around. The black goes on the brass screw. You want to make sure you don't get your insulation caught under the screw head, because then you'll have a poor connection, because then it won't be tight on the copper, and it has to be tight on the copper to get a good connection. And I look, and I'll bring the camera up close so you can see. Okay, so now we can fold this into our box. We'll go down and up with our black and white, and we'll go across the bottom here with our ground wire so it stays away from everything. Okay, so I would like to suggest another good place to use these tamper-resistant outlets. Nurseries is a good place because that's a place that has a lot of children. And daycare centers, you'd want them there where you have a lot of kids at the daycare. And now we're going to hook it up here to the power. Okay, so I'll just take my knife and just slice the edge there where it's going to be stripped. So we have our two blacks that are going to go to the outlet here after the sheetrock is up. So we're going to hook our black and white and ground onto this here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my strippers out here. I'm going to strip the end of my number 12 here. I'm going to take this wire nut off. They're all even on the end here. So I can take my fourth wire and line it up even here. My insulation's even at the bottom and my copper's even at the top. Take my wire nut and I'll start twisting it in. I'm going to hold that new wire so it doesn't move on me and doesn't get pushed out. And I'll tighten it. Okay, so we have our two blacks to go to the outlets in here and our connection made to go to the other one. So now we'll get our whites out. We'll strip our end here. Okay, I'm going to make sure they're even. Oh, okay, so I'm going to have to just take a tiny more smidgen off this white here. Okay, I'll line them up so they're even here. Our three wires are even down here on the end. And our one we're splicing in is even. So we'll hold them all steady and we'll put our cap on. Four number 12s is the maximum for these red wire nuts. Okay, so we have them together. And now we got to get our ground wire here. So I'm going to have to take this crimp sleeve off. So I'm going to have to squeeze it and play with it a little bit, see if I can get it to come off. Yes, I was able to get that off. Nice. And I'll just, since this twist is kind of loose, I'll just twist my fourth one in. Alrighty, so here in the country I was born in, we use wire nuts to connect our wires together. And these are the red ones. Okay, so we'll just twist it on here. Make sure I'm going to just look and make sure all our wires are even on the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all even on the end. So we can take our wire nut and put it in. Okay, we'll tighten this up nice and tight. Okay, so we'll get our ground wires pushed back into the box, all the way in the back into the bottom here. We'll get our white wires into the box, get them back out of the way here. And we'll put our black wires, these are the ones that are our live wires. And we'll put them back in here so they're out of the way, and we have these caps on them so that nobody gets a shock. We'll just tuck our whites back here and get our ground out of the way here. So that is how to install these tamper resistant outlets. They are great for rooms where there's children, like nurseries, daycares, and in residential, especially rooms where there's a child's bedroom. They are great for that. And another nice place these could be used is like if you have a home where there's mentally challenged people that don't understand and have the mind of children, you might want to install them there too. Peace. Thanks for watching.